Hey, Ben here. This video is part of the TMiP animation generation collaboration, where every month the Talking Maths in Public community are challenged to build a mathematical visualization, normally an animated one, hence the title. And if you've ever seen anything on this channel or my Numberphile videos, you know this is what I enjoy doing. So I really love this idea, and every month we get a challenge with a particular mathematical idea. This month's challenge is to demonstrate a visualization of a polyhedron folding and unfolding from a net. And I'm going to do it in GeoGebra, although you can do this in all sorts of other packages because I know GeoGebra well, but also because it's going to do all the work for me. GeoGebra has a command called net, which we're going to use, and this is going to be a quick video. So we're going to dive straight in, and I'm going to choose an octahedron to unfold because it's a really lovely platonic solid. Other platonic solids and other solids are available, and this command will work on other solids, not even just regular ones. But let's just do the basics first. So I'm in GeoGebra Classic 5. You can see a new window here. I'm going to start as it looks normally. I'm going to turn on the 3D graphics mode. There it is. I'm going to make the normal graphics view a bit smaller. I don't want the axes or grid. We're just going to use this to put sliders on and things. And we're going to build a shape in here. And we're going to use extensively commands that are built into GeoGebra to make this super quick, because I want to really demonstrate that this can be done in seconds. I will take slightly longer for the sake of demonstrating it, but let's still try and do it quickly. First of all, I'm going to make a slider, because there is a slider involved in the command we're going to use. There's a parameter between 0 and 1, so I'm going to let it go between 0 and 1 in small increments, and this is going to control how unfolded our net is. It knows what to do with the net and how to fold it, and this controller is going to be all we need. Now I'm going to build an octahedron without any sort of folding idea first. Let's type in octahedron. All the platonic solids are built-in commands, but I'm going to warn you that these commands for the platonic solids in GeoGebra are slightly buggier than normal. And I'll try and explain why I think that is, and possibly how to avoid the problems that you might encounter along the way. That will slow me down slightly. First of all, the command for the octahedron needs various options to specify it. I'm going to use the one that needs a triangle to start with because it lets me build a triangle to start. So I'm going to build a polygon from the origin 1, 0, and with 3 vertices, and it's built me a triangle. You can see an equilateral triangle. I'm going to use then the octahedron command, and it's not entirely clear which way it will build the octahedron off that triangle, but if it builds it the other way around, then define your triangle the other way around. I'm pretty sure if I type in poly1 here, it builds me an octahedron above the axis there. I think it's to do with the handedness and clockwise or anti-clockwise nature of the way the points of the polygon are defined. Mine were going anti-clockwise, and I think it's kind of gone up from the anti-clockwise. Anyway, it's either one or the other, so if it goes the wrong way, then go the other way around. Why is this doing something weird? Well, first of all, in my algebra view, there are no points visible, there are no faces visible, there are no segments visible, and there are some, and there's even, like on the screen here, even some of them are labeled. And that's because when you use this octahedron command, and in fact lots of other commands which are doing lots of stuff in the background, even the polygon command, it's building other points to do what you want. It knows what you want, but it needs some points to build it, and actually makes them auxiliary objects. So if you right click on the algebra view, you can see this auxiliary objects. It's not clear whether that's toggled on or off, but if you toggle it, you realize there are some other objects in this construction, and they're considered auxiliary in that you probably don't want to be interacting with them. In my experience, you sometimes do need to interact with them, but there's some confusion because hiding the polygon, for example, just hides the polygon, but hiding the octahedron hides some of these other objects. So these objects are like tied to this octahedron object, and it is a little bit complicated to figure out which is which. So it's really useful to know whether your auxiliary objects are visible here in case you want to turn them on or off. And in my experience, the points that it creates come and go. So it's made these 3 points at the top to build the octahedron, and I don't really want them, and I don't want them labeled, but if you couldn't see them, it's quite hard to just turn them off. So I often turn auxiliary objects on. I also sort the algebra view. At the moment it's in construction order, which by the way is quite useful. If you want to see the last thing you just built, you just go to the bottom of it. But it's also really useful to be able to list it by object, so I know where all the points are. And for example, I can select all the points by clicking on point, and I could just turn them off. That's surprisingly important because those points just occasionally have a habit of coming back. You might see that happen. Let's turn them off for now. You could have just hidden the labels if you wanted the dots and not the points. Okay, here's an octahedron. It is not folding or unfolding. That's because I haven't used the net command. If I start typing net though, you can see it's right there. And it can take a variety of inputs. I'm just going to say, take a polyhedron, my octahedron, which I think is called B, and a number, which is the slider I made called A, and we'll just see what happens. You can play with the other versions of the command if you want to figure out what they do, but let's just keep the speed going. Net using B for the octahedron and A for the slider. Hit return, and it's already done it. Couple of points to notice: the slider is live. Yay! I mean, I'm done. The work is done. It's done all sorts of work in the background for me, but there are some things to notice. First of all, I probably don't want the original octahedron, so I'm going to hide that. And it does hide the associated faces and segments. It's made a bunch new points here, and they're not labelled this time. I don't know how it's decided whether to label them or not label them. They're all here. There's loads of them, and now it's confusing which points are from the octahedron originally, which points are from the net. I'm probably just going to hide them all. Sometimes you have to toggle them all on and then all off, and then all those points have gone. And in my experience, doing several nets at once, the number of auxiliary points it's creating, it seems to get confused, and I don't really understand what's happening. We might see it in a moment, but let's just check what's happening here. I can slide this unfolded, folded, a thing of beauty. That's pretty much it. You can then play with it. A couple of things I would suggest doing. It's really nice to have this animate, but you notice when it's animating like this, it doesn't look very smooth, and it's also, like with all animations, if it's just a linear progression thing, it has this weird sort of like jerky nature, particularly when it transitions from going forward to backwards. So to make animations smoother, often worth changing the increment to be smaller. You can make it go quicker by increasing the number and the speed. Both of those things help this feel a bit smoother. And the other thing I would really recommend is doing some sort of easing function on this number. What you could do is take the parameter a, pass it into a function which has got some sort of S-shaped curve, a smooth step, or a cubic function that eases it, to slow it down at the beginning and the end. And I won't do that in this video, but hey, if you want to do that, this is a mathematical program, it'll let you do that. Once you've done it, the other things to tidy up is that we probably don't want the axes. We probably do want the plane, because it just feels a bit odd floating in nothing without any reference points, so that's useful. But maybe we want to deal with the opacity, and luckily if I hide all these things over here, we can easily access the net object itself, even though it's made up of faces and segments and points. And let's make it a little bit more opaque. That's that slider here. You can always right click the object if you want. Notice if you right click on the screen here, you're going to get one of the faces or the edges, so better to right click over here and get its properties and change it all together. And one other trick which I found useful in visualizing this is that although I quite like the way it has got a slightly translucent effect there, I want the boundaries to be a bit more visible, and one easy way to solve that is to keep the color of the object the same but just make another version of it. So if you grab that very simple command and do it again, I've got another net. Again, it's made more points. I need to probably hide and show and hide all of those things, but this one I could make don't know why it's let's make this one black but also completely transparent, but it will keep the edges, and now we've got really nicely sort of defined edges of our object, and I just kind of prefer the way that looks. Now maybe I want it to be completely opaque to avoid these dotted lines coming through. Change the slider, or maybe not. The other thing to mention is just like the viewing angle needs to be sort of chosen with care. Very useful command called center view. It will center the view of the last clicked graphics view. You can choose a graphics view with a menu or an input there. In this case, also I want it to be on the center of that polygon I made, and there's a nice command called centroid, which finds the center of it. So if I do centroid of poly1 and center view there, it does shift it to be the center there, and that's kind of guaranteed that my middle of the screen is in the right place. And you can still put your mouse in the middle and zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, or use the zoom commands in the input bar. That's pretty much it. I'll show you one I made earlier with all 5 platonic solids and a bit of easing on the animation, but it's as easy as that. It's essentially build a shape and type the word net in. Go and try it with non-regular solids if you want to, and have lots of fun. See you next month for another animation collaboration, unless I do something else in the meantime.